Okay, today, doing something a bit different. I'm going to be unboxing a whole bunch of new engines that I got. I got these off PlazaJapan, which has only recently started shipping to Australia again. They stopped when COVID was at its peak, I guess, but now they're back. But shipping has become very expensive. So to kind of make the most of actually buying stuff off there, you kind of have to buy a lot of stuff because shipping was about $60, but it remains at $60 even if you get up to about 8 or 9 items. So I got as many as I could for shipping to still be at $60, and this is what I got. Alright, I'm gonna start with James because I've actually already opened this one. Just slid him back in the box for the purpose of the video. So, this James was a purchase that I wasn't really planning on getting. I really wanted to get a Hurricane and Frankie, but they were sold out. So, I ended up grabbing this because for a very long time I've been meaning to get a Trackmaster James from 2012, the 2012 version, which is very similar to this in shape. It's like a bit chubbier than a regular James. Yeah, as you can see, it is a bit shorter and he looks a little bit more squished. But I actually kind of like that because, I mean, really, he should be smaller than Gordon and Henry. He should be about the same size as Edward. So I think this one's pretty cool in that way. And so the plan with this guy is to make him into a Railway Series style James. He's a bit shorter. And basically all I'll do is make the cab roof red, give him a black foot plate, and then I think I'll actually cut the cab and kind of make the cab roof shorter because sometimes he tends to be depicted like that, and then it would kind of make him stand out a little bit. I think actually something that I don't like about this Plarail James in comparison to the 2012 Trackmaster version is he's got a really short firebox. I mean, you can see from a regular James it should kind of go past his wheel arch, but this one doesn't. And the thing about the Railway Series style James is this last splasher is really short. It kind of just curves down here. So I think maybe I'll extend the firebox as well. But that's the plan with that. It comes with a nice brake van, which is good. It's a nice colour. So yeah, I probably won't do anything with this. I was considering turning it into a bigger brake van, like, I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but the ones that extend all the way out here. But I don't think I'll do that. So yeah, there's James. Put him off to the side there. Get rid of my normal James as well. Next up, let's talk about Talking Gordon. This one was also another weird purchase. Like, I certainly don't really need it, but I thought it'd be cool to get because, oh well, why don't I get him out and then I'll talk to you about it. I had a spare Gordon. It was just a regular Tomy one, and then I actually gave that away. Traded it, actually. And then I was thinking, I kind of want an extra Gordon in case I make Railway Series characters. Because I mean, that was the thought process. I mean, I grabbed James because I was like, oh, I have vague intentions of one day making a Railway Series style James. Certainly not high on the priority list. I've got a lot of other stuff going. But since I was getting James, I also got this, or vice versa. I was kind of more excited about this one than James because the tender, I realised, Well, I hadn't actually compared this. I was just under the impression that it was the case that the talking tender is slightly bigger than just a regular tender, and I figured that'd be kind of cool for a Railway Series style Gordon, just to kind of make him seem a little bit bigger than the other engines, because it's like a little bit boring if the only thing about the Railway Series style is giving it a black footplate. So I figured I could use this tender on my spare Gordon, and I guess the plan is to do a bit of a switcheroo, because I'm not really a fan of the new style Gordon body. I think it looks, I'm not exactly sure what I don't think the side rods are as cool. I mean, they are a cool piece, and I think they would work with some characters. Like it'd work with like a Rebecca, I feel like. But I don't think it's as cool as the old style side rods, which actually extended into like a cylinder. And then I also don't really like how it's kind of square on this end. That doesn't really make much sense, doesn't look much like Gordon. So the plan is to do a bit of a switcheroo with my Gordon, because I have this spare broken Gordon, which is like an old style front, and I think I'd give this tender to the old style one, and then I'd give this body to the old tender, and then I could use that as my 87546 or Croven custom, because then it actually kind of distinguishes it a bit from a regular Gordon. Because I mean, to be honest, my 87546 custom is terrible. It's just a Gordon. It's just a Gordon without his number and a different face. So I think by giving it this body, and then I think I wouldn't give it a Fowler tender, I might give it a spare Emily's tender, and then that would really separate it from a regular Gordon. So hopefully that all makes sense. And I mean, the other really cool thing about Talking Gordon is this coach, which only comes with the Talking Gordon. Very unique. I think it's a cool piece, although, to be completely honest, I don't really have much use for it. Only having one is kind of a bit lame. You want at least 3 coaches, I feel like. 4, in my opinion, is the gold standard for the amount of coaches that you can have. I've currently got 4 greens, which is perfect. I don't need any more of them. I've got 3 reds, so I'd like 1 more red coach. I've got 2 special coaches. I mean, they're an exception. I think you only need 2 special coaches because in the show there was only ever 2 special coaches. And then I also have 4 long Clarabelles from the Steam and Go, which are kind of like this. It's like a brown express coach that works as like a more of a Railway Series-esque coach. So, to be honest, I might give this guy away and swap it out for maybe a red coach, so then I have 4 red coaches, or a green coach, which then I could then customize into a blue coach, which will make more sense when we get further into the unboxing. Let's actually get our Gordon. I've been doing a lot of talking. So I was talking a lot before, and I fear that I didn't explain it very well. So this is my older Gordon. The tender is actually broken, and this is what I used for my Croven custom. So the idea would be that I'd give this longer tender to this Gordon, because I like this style of Gordon better as a Gordon. And then I'd use this for my Croven custom, and then remove this tender, which is pretty easy to do, and then maybe swap it out for an Emily's tender, so it'd be like this, and then he'd look a bit more unique. So that's the plan there. This, the Gordon, actually very long. You can see he's actually longer than a regular Gordon, which I think is pretty cool. Certainly a nice visual if you have it next to like a normal Henry, because he actually looks bigger. So I actually think this is a really nice piece. I just wish it was in this style, to be honest. Then I wouldn't be doing any customizing to it. I'm not a fan of the cab. Look, the cab windows aren't even done. I think that's a bit lazy. This boxy part kind of sucks. For some reason this section, like the distance between these stripes is so much longer than these ones. So it's not perfect, but I do think it's really cool. And for getting a nice unique coach with it, I think it's pretty great. So yeah, and it looks like the tender can be removed pretty easily. There's a screw there. I'm trying to get it in the light, but struggling. So I can probably just unscrew it, and then the tender will probably, I think the tender's the bit that talks. So you can just have tender off to the side talking, and then this thing runs on its own too. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I really like it. It's even got traction tires on the tender, which is kind of cool. So yeah, this is going to go towards a Railway Series style Gordon and a better 87546. Alright, now we're getting into the Plarail engines. First off, let's do this guy. Alright. So this, as you may have figured out, is for a Pip and Emma custom. Been meaning to get one from before the pandemic. Well, I knew that I wanted to get one, but I didn't intend on getting one until later on, because I've been working on other stuff. And then COVID happened and I was actually unable to get it. But now I can get it again, so I kind of jumped at the opportunity. So I've got these instructions, which are of no use to me. Is there another language? Okay, so the Romance car. It's really nice. It's got a high speed, which is very appropriate, given that it's going to become the high speed engines. Let's get it out. So I mentioned earlier, come on, this knife is old. I mentioned earlier that I would really like some blue coaches, and that's for these guys. So you can imagine they look pretty good together, don't they? I mean, not when they're different colours, but if they were the same colour, then they'd look pretty good. Because I mean, this coach, it's so much shorter. And it's also only one coach. So I would really like to make a couple of custom blue express coaches for these guys who will become Pip and Emma. So, something really cool about this is that you can see through the windows. They're not just blacked out. So, I'll definitely try and keep that the way it is when I paint this. Keep the windows clear. And then it also comes with a little person who's currently sat inside here. I wonder how you just unclip it. Now, the person's pretty goofy looking. It's like a budget Lego character sort of thing. So, to be honest, of not much use to me, but it's cool that they actually like committed to the idea of like the fact that you can see through it. And it's just really nice, like super glossy, metallic on the roof, on the clear plastic. Looks great. And I also like that this has got the front coupling. It's not this that has two front couplings. They decided to actually give this the front coupling, which I think makes a lot of sense, because that means that regardless of what happens in the middle, they can still have this on the back, which I think is good. So you can have no coach, you can have a different style of coach, whatever you want. But yeah, I really like these. I'm very excited to make a Pip and Emma custom. I also love that there's a high speed setting. I love that about the Plarail engines. It's awesome. Alright. I'm going to hook these up. Voila. Cool. And lastly is this one. It's kind of a weird one. Is there a picture anywhere? So it's this random diesel, but it comes with this long, super long bogeyed truck. So it goes from here all the way to the back here, and yeah, it's on these little bogeyed wheels, so it can still go around corners. And I mean, I have no real intentions with this. I just thought it was really cool. So let's crack it open. I do lie, actually. I do have some intentions with it, which I'll get into a little bit of fun. There really is nothing more satisfying than getting out some new Plarail trends. Wow. Look at that. So, amazing. That is really awesome. So this diesel I can easily turn into, I'm just curious about how long it is. Oh, it's longer than I thought it was. I always imagined these being a bit shorter in scale. I wonder how it compares to a Boko. Boko might still be longer. I'll have to test that in a bit. As I was saying, this I can turn into a couple of like random background diesels. There are two that I have in mind, this one and this one. And I mean, I'm kind of not really fussed which one I turn it into, because at the end of the day, it's just a diesel. That kind of like a background diesel, as I said. Although I'd probably prefer this one, just because there are a lot of blue and yellow diesels out there. There's D199, there's the Works diesel. Figured it's probably cool to mix it up a bit. Oops. is something else that's really, really cool. So there's little bogies on it so it can turn corners despite its length. It also comes with these two little unpainted cars, which are pretty well squished in there. I'm curious how you get under there. Do you have to unscrew it, or is there a more practical way to get under there? Do you slide maybe? Oh, that thing. Oh, it just comes right off. Great. Cool. So, got these two cars, which are just hollow cars. I mean, I actually think this is still really great. Like, it's detailed, like, you got the windows and stuff, headlights, so I can paint this up however I want, which I think is great. I love having that freedom. I can understand how it's perhaps a bit lazy on behalf of Plarail, but I mean, like, the amount of stuff that's coming with it, like, there's a diesel, there's this really unique piece, and they even, like, offer to give you some things to put on there, so I think that's better than nothing, really. So yeah, they just sit there, and I think it's really great that you can take this off, because for me, I like it more as a flatbed than, like, specifically a car transportation piece. So, like, you know, it's like a nice well wagon for, like, in the show that could put, like, you can put pipes on it or something like that. I was originally intending to put other trains on there, like if someone breaks down then they could sit there, but these posts actually kind of get in the way. They're not wide enough to fit a train on there, so that's a bit unfortunate, but I mean, it's still an awesome piece. So I'm not sure if I would customize it. I mean, the bright red is kind of a bit too much. Like, I think it'd probably look a bit better if it was like a grey or a brown or a black or something a bit more muted. But yes, super cool, and so cool how you can take these off, on and off. That's really awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. And then we have diesel. Not often that the rolling stock is kind of the more exciting part, but anyway, here's the diesel. I keep calling it a diesel, but it's like actually electric. Seems like. I actually don't know. I don't really know. This one does not have a high-speed switch. It's just on and off. What's this? No idea what that's meant to do. Looks like it moves. Oh. Oh my god. Did they advertise that? Oh, they do. I had no idea that was a thing. That's super cool. I love that you can tuck it away and you can barely even see it. It's not like super obvious. You know when sometimes there's a front coupling and it kind of makes the front of it look really weird. Well, not at all the case for this guy. That's super cool. Wow. They should advertise that more on the box. Like, all the pictures have it tucked away. Except for this thing, which is actually showing you that it works. Wow. Awesome. So yeah, this is good. I love diesels or electric, I don't know, non-steam engines. I think they always look really cool. I love having like a whole bunch of random ones to use for random other railway shenanigans. interesting paint job. Like, I respect the lack of stickers, but you can see it's almost faded, like they used a stencil, and the stencil wasn't in place exactly correctly. You know, it's not as sharp as on this side. But, I mean, I'm really searching for flaws at this point. In comparison to the Trackmaster, it's miles ahead. Looks great. So yeah, I think I'll paint this like green, like a dark Brunswick green sort of thing. Make it D701, I think, is the numbering. But yeah, but even on its own, it looks really cool. Like, there's not a huge need to paint it. I can just stick a face on it, and then it's a cool background character. So yeah, that is, oh, actually, I was gonna say that's it, but it's actually not it. I actually have some other stuff, some track. A lot less exciting, really. But still happy to get my hands on these pieces. I don't know any of these until now, and they just look great. I have this one piece that goes both ways, and it's this huge cumbersome looking thing. You may have seen it in my videos, and there's like the grip on the tracks is kind of non-existent, so characters often slip, and these just look a lot cooler. Like, you don't really see changeover tracks that go both ways. They kind of only ever one way, so I think it's really cool to get these. It only comes with two though. I'm kind of not sure if I regret only getting two. Like, maybe it would have been better to get 4 of these and then forgo this piece. This piece being the Flexi Track, which can be molded in kind of any way you want. Let's get it out. I figured this would be good for when I'm building more complicated sets, when sometimes all the tracks don't link up as perfectly as you'd want, because I believe you can take them off at any intercept. I guess that's just by brute forcing it, maybe. I'm kind of scared to do that. I'll figure it out later, but it's a nice sound. You can bend it. You can get quite a sharp curve that you might not be able to get just with regular curve tracks. So yeah, I think this will be good for building complicated sets. Also, just like some flex. I always imagined using this if you were to do like a Toby's Tightrope remake for the track that's like bending as he goes over the broken bridge. What I didn't realize was just how big it is. Like, it's so much thicker than regular track. See? It's like 1.5 the width. So it definitely stands out a bit more than I originally assumed, but I'm sure I will make use for it. Even if the use is just doing this. Because that's fun. Should open this too, instead of just talking about it. It is an unboxing after all. So, bam. So, they both go the same direction, which I think is, I kind of assumed that they would go opposite directions for like, wait, do they go opposite directions? I'm so confused, because you flip it over that way and it's fine. There we go. Now they're different directions. yeah, these will be great. Just so much use. Whenever there's like a double track set, you can just chuck this in. Yeah, beautiful. I'm very glad I can get my hands on these. They will be used a lot in my sets. So that's the whole shebang. So we've got pivot hammer. Got this huge, long well wagon, flatbed, whatever you want to call it. Let's try and do this neatly. Got James. And then we've got Gordon. So that's the entire PlazaJapan haul. I was just so scared to unbox these. It was really weird. I felt like it had to be documented because I've never really bought this much Plarail stuff before. Plarail is just so cool. It's a bit of a myth as someone, who lives in a Western country who can't get Plarail unless you're ordering it online. So getting this much stuff at once was really cool. And obviously I see a lot of these sort of diesels and these high speed trains. To actually see them and own them myself in real life is pretty awesome. So this has been fun. Hopefully not too boring for you. Have a good day. Stay safe.